what about a kind of tech bro culture? And I don't use this phrase lightly. You have Elon Musk virtually spearheading a kind of geopolitical conversation every day on X. You now have Mark Zuckerberg basically reversing each policy that Meta stood for over the last few years in an obvious attempt to court favor with the Trump administration, now talking about how corporations need masculine energy. I have nothing against that per se. All kinds of energies should be incorporated in an inclusive work environment. But there is this sense that big technology is, these big tech companies are laws unto themselves. They're virtually sort of the Republic of X, the Republic of Facebook, and so on. And they are now very dangerously close to the seat of power, or will make sure that they are. And what sort of uncertainty can that pull the world into is just a final question that I'd like to leave you with.
Well, whenever any kind of corporation gets too powerful and is close to government power, you have a huge fear about cronyism. They get the rules and regulations that help them and keep other kinds of competition out. That's one. But also you get the possibility that government is subverted to support their causes. There's a very nice piece the other day which talked about the fact that what are these tech companies afraid of? They're afraid of regulation, which is why they've gone to town against European regulation, which has been much more sort of intrusive than American regulation. And one of the things that might be happening right now is they hope to enlist the US government in their fight against European regulation, but not just European regulation, any country that wants to regulate them and say this kind of content is not reasonable. They want to have the cake and eat it too. Basically, run these large platforms, but not be responsible for anything that shows up on those platforms. Now, I'm not saying we need censorship, and I worry very much when the government controls it, because then pro-government stuff comes on and anti-government stuff gets taken out. But I do think that having a reasonable discussion about how you sort of manage content and what kind of content is allowable is very important, and tech bros don't necessarily have the last word on all this. It is a social and a governmental issue and should not be determined by them alone. But I worry very much in the US that all these in India, when we have the budget and you ask corporate honchos what they think about it, it's always 110% out of 100.
Yeah.
But that's the kind of pliancy that unfortunately is also now showing up in the US. And I've always been saying that, you can talk all you want about institutions, but give enough time to a political authoritarian and every institution crumbles. And now people are saying, oh, we have to deal with 4 more years of Trump, so let's kowtow. The kinds of delegations that are going to Mar-a-Lago to bend the knee is actually very worrisome, because it suggests that they're preparing for 4 years of fealty. I do think the US cannot be complacent. I do believe the Trump administration should be given a chance, and there's been too much mud thrown at it without seeing what it is going to do. But at the same time, we have to be constantly worried about democracy staying strong, even in a country which has had 200 so many years to build its institutions. It's never done. The institutions can be undermined. It's certainly something that we should pay attention to in India. Elections, the judicial system. We need to constantly be reevaluating these to see if they do what they promise to do, and whether they strengthen democracy as they should. And unfortunately, across the world, democracy is being threatened.